Hey guys, Unclejona here, once again, back with a beer review. And we've got it's the end of an era. We've got the last one from when I went over to Bristol back in, was it February? It was February, I think. And I went over to Left Handed Giant, which is this mofo here. We have a beer here, and Hazy IPA, they're very good at those. Dream House at 6.2 on the ABV. And there is a big old lion. No, it's a tiger, isn't it? Sitting in the Dream House. And like, there's a lot going on. There's some alien dude coming through the wall. They've got some sort of arcade game going on in there. Their artwork is completely off the wall, but you know, that's like a lot of beers. Let's see if we can get here. Here we go. Our beloved Dream House becomes our House IPA. Tweaked to improve for a dreamier gluten-free experience. And a little thing over here that says not only is it vegan, but it's recognized by the Gluten-Free Society. Oh, it says it up there. It's under 20 parts per million. So apparently that's good, even though it does have barley in. Oat and wheat and wheat. My God, that's like that's that yeast that's like wheat. You know, it's wheat. Um, we've got extra oats and wheat to add more body, and modified dry hop brings out passion fruit from Citra, Victoria's Secret, and Galaxy hops, with a hit of tangerine and blueberry from Mosaic. So they got quite a few hops in this bad boy, which is cool in the gang, as far as I'm concerned. Some dude like asleep down there. Or maybe he's fallen over because he's had too many of these. Who knows? And some sort of plant. Outrageous! Right, let's get this bad boy into a glass before everything else goes wrong. You know, it's like one of Unclejona's reviews. Give it a quick pressure test because some of these can be a bit feisty, shall we say, but this one's okay. It's been in the fridge for a while. Um, right, let's see what we get. Now, for those of you that have seen some of the other beers that I've done as part of this kind of collective, they will know that a lot of the left-hand brewing co, left-handed giant even brewing co, they have like a house malt or a house blend of malts. This one's slightly different. Got fingers white as the driven snow head. But yeah, they mess around with hops, but keep the malts reasonably similar. This one, they've done something slightly different, which is kind of cool. There we go. Nice picture for the front of this video. So I'm looking forward to trying the blueberry. Blueberry used to be, now what was it? It was the South American, was it South American Cascade? I think it was, and it wasn't that great. So I'm hoping the blueberry's coming from somewhere else. And there is a kind of berry note on the nose, but there's a bit of kind of fruitiness and tropicaliness, which I'm almost certain is going to be the mosaic in this bad boy. Look at that. Colour is absolutely fantastic. Dark yellow, bordering a light kind of orangey thing. Maybe even a grapefruity colour, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, the head has kind of gone, but with slightly stronger beers, and by that I mean anything over sort of 5-6%. The head does go reasonably quickly, so I'm wondering if it's to do with the alcohol in suspension have an effect on the head retention. So we'll see if it hangs around and does things on the side of the glass, which I like. The lacing, the tide lines, all of that kind of good stuff. If you haven't done so already, please think about subscribing to the channel. Click like. At the very least, it does me a favour. If you want to do me more of a favour, leave a comment on YouTube. If you're watching this through Facebook, don't leave a comment on Facebook. Well, you can if you like, but go to YouTube and leave a comment. That's what really helps the channel out. Cheers and beers from Unclejona to you, my dear viewer. Whoa. Quite creamy, actually, uh, which no doubt has something to do, yeah, with the added oats and wheat. That was weird. I had some sort of flavour hit right at the back of my throat, which was a bit weird. Not sure what that was. Almost like a yeasty thing going on there, which is a bit bizarre. But I was going to say, there's definitely citra in there. You can taste that kind of greeny, hedgery, kind of dark, maybe not dark, maybe the grass, mown grass, that kind of thing going on there. But it does hit very different to a normal beer. Maybe that's got something to do with the gluten reduction, at least. They call it gluten free. And by those kind of standards, you have to get under a certain amount. And for this one, it's under 20 parts per million, which is quite low, really. So perhaps not so much barley in there, which is weird. But yeah, some weird flavors in there, some weird tastes. Is there blueberry in there? Maybe not so far. I was going to say, usually these kind of hazies have a bit of residual sweetness to them too, but this one doesn't. In fact, it's kind of quite flat, and I'm hoping that's not because it's a gluten beer. Um, Perhaps a pinch of lactose might help. Um, and after all, they're not claiming that this is a lacto-free beer, but maybe by adding lactose, they'd wow, it's well carbonated. My God. By adding the lactose, maybe they can't get the vegan certification, which they've gone for as well. Which is a little bit of a shame because it kind of, for a hazy IPA, it's just missing something which is usually there. But this beer is kind of missing that. Let's dive back in, dear viewer. Oh, by the way, we do have a nice tide line there. Almost looks like some sort of Sanskrit or some sort of writing, maybe writing on the inside of the Ring of Doom from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Only when you put it in fire, though, mind you. Is this beer fire? On the first sip, I would say no, but let's see what we get in the second sip. Cheers and beers. Oh, okay. So more of that kind of dankness. That thing at the back of my throat is weird. I would say some beers that I've had with sorghum in, which is a type of kind of wheat, it's an ancient type of wheat. Especially that Nigerian Guinness, the Guinness export, that kind of has that weird sort of thing going on in there as well. Um, hmm, it's weird. It's not as creamy as perhaps the normal house style of these kind of beers from Left Handed Giant, yeah, have. But at the same time, maybe because of that, the hops are kind of falling a little bit flat as well. Um, which is, yeah, I really wanted to like this beer, but there's definitely something missing. Um, and perhaps if I was a celiac, and had to go gluten free, and I had something like this, which is a good swing at the fences, but for someone that drinks normal beers or non-gluten-free beers, there is definitely something missing in, I guess, the malt bill, the malt profile, that also reacts and raises the hops in beer as well. Um, so unless I had to, I don't think I would drink this beer again, especially because these are like £5 or £6 a pop. So quite expensive, in my opinion. And if you were buying this purely because it was a gluten-free beer, fair dues. But if you were buying it just because it was a nice hazy beer, I think you would probably, yeah, I think you'd have a better choice going elsewhere. What I really need to do is go back to Bristol, and hopefully I'll get to go back next year and actually visit the pub instead of the brewery itself. Go to the Left-Handed Giant pub, see if we've got some of these beers on tap, to see if they're different on cask or on draft than in the cans. Look at that, the lacing is fantastic though, don't it? There's the top line there, there's the second line. And look at that, oh, this looks like some dude is kind of swimming in the foam there. Absolutely crazy. Maybe like a siren, or a mermaid or something along those lines. Let's finish this beer off and you guys can go on your way. Yeah, there is, or there are hints, I should say, of hops in this beer. But for a beer that's got Citra Mosaic et al., shall we say, in there, I was expecting a lot more. It's a shame because I really like this brewery. Um, the back of the glass, some absolute crazy sort of stuff going on. It looks almost like a kind of flower going on. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the lacing coming out of that beer, albeit the actual head itself was a bit lacking to start with. Oh, pardon me, my God. For a beer that doesn't have so much head retention, how is so much of it held in the beer? It's probably been in the fridge too long. That's probably the case. So there is Dream House, gluten-free hazy IPA, 6.2%, and it's the last beer from Left-Handed Giant Brewing over in Bristol, or sunny Bristol. You say it quickly apparently over there. Smooth, citrusy, tropical. Not convinced. Not convinced. I would say there are much better beers from this same brewery. I like the fact they've tried to make something gluten free, but yeah, it's just affected other stuff in the beer. You know what? Stick to what you're good at, um, and life is good. This has been Uncle Jonah drinking beers from Bristol, so you guys don't have to. I will be back. Uncle Jonah will return. I'm sure he will, with another beer review real soon. Until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and remember, Shamo.